Yeah, okay, awesome. So we have 2 contaminations on the table right now. We have our needle mat that's contaminated, and we also have that far end of the yank hour. Everything that's hanging off that table is contaminated. Which contamination would you think that I should handle first? Back the truth trolley up. The first thing I want to do when I get to the back table is double glove. Always double glove. If you're double gloved, can you take care of your own contamination?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right? So again, we want to be as self-sufficient as possible. So we're going to go ahead and double glove. Okay. Now that I'm double gloved, we'll work on our contaminations. Which one should I take care of first? The needle mat or the yank hour?
The yank hour?
The yank hour, why? You're correct. Why?
Because it's closer to your surgical field.
That's a good guess. Does anyone else have a reason why I should take care of the yank hour first?
It doesn't even have
It's not contaminated on top, which means I can actually take care of that contamination without contaminating anything else, okay? So if I were to touch this and designate my right hand as my contaminated hand, and then went over here and touched this, I would also contaminate the top of the table here, okay? So what I wanna do is sterile till it's still sterile. Do I wanna bring this unsterile end over my table? No. So when you're handling something like that, you're gonna go like this, take it away from your table. Is this countable?
Yes.
Yes, right? This is actually gonna be counted with your instruments as part of your section. So I'm gonna hand it to my circulator. Go ahead and put your hands down like this. Yep. I'm gonna drop it in my circulator's hands and say, will you please take this out of the room? Okay? So if it's out of the room, that means it is out of this red line for skills check-off purposes. If it's not out of the room, it's counting against you, okay? Unless you remember to count it. Is there anything here that I need to take care of? Nope, everything on here is sterile, okay? So for this one, I'm gonna designate my right hand as being my dirty hand. So now this hand is contaminated. I'm gonna bring it to my circulator arena. Is that needle mat countable?
No.
Yes.
No, it doesn't go into the patient.
Right? Nope, because it doesn't go into the patient, so she can throw that away in the trash can in the room. Okay? So now this hand is dirty. Karen, would you mind opening a pair of 6s for me under the back table? Can I take care of this contamination by myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I'm going to do is, with my sterile hand, I'm going to go underneath this top glove. Can I touch this side now? Right? Because this side was just up against my sterile glove here. Take that off and throw this away. Now that I've done that, and I'm sterile everywhere, I'm going to go ahead and re-glove, double glove, this right hand.
I have a question. So like, let's say you had more sterile things around your needle mat, but they weren't touching, so they're still sterile.
Excellent question.
Would you want to move them out of the way so when you put down your...
Excellent question. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that's a great idea. If this had several things around it, but they weren't contaminated, then I would pick those things away first while I was still sterile, and then designate your unsterile hand. Okay, so now that I'm double gloved, is my contamination taken care of? No, because that area was contaminated, I need to cover that. I'm gonna take a utility drape. These are awful cheesy utility drapes, and they are the same exact ones that are in the OR. So if you start peeling this off and you hear a tear, it's that sticky coming off. So start from the other side if that happens, because obviously you want the sticky. So be very, very mindful when you're pulling this off, not to drag it across your contamination and not to let it hang below your table, because then this is also contaminated, okay? So if that happens, if this happens, pay attention to it and you can throw that away. What I want you to do is kind of cuff your fingers so that you're not touching anything that's contaminated. Set this down, drop what's coming off the edge, and press that down here, okay? See how there's a little lip right here? This little lip makes it so that you don't have to go over you can go over your contamination safely. So you're gonna go over that lip, protecting your fingers, and now that contamination is covered. Okay, does that make sense? If it was something that was a lot bigger, if it was like this, like the suction is contaminated and now the towels are also contaminated, go ahead and use a second pair, or a second utility drape.